Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the first of the sort of knockout stage round of the Monotype PIC tournament thing. Yes indeed. Now, the group stages are done, everyone's played their games, and now what's happened is we've been put into different brackets. The winner of which moves on in that bracket, the loser of which goes into the loser's bracket, and that's how sort of the winner is going to be revealed, as it were. Now, we've gone through fairly high ranked. We won our group, which is nice. So we're going up against a bottom group player, and that is going to be NatedogPlays and the Dallas Darmanitans. Another person who I don't know very well. If he has links, and I'm sure he does, they'll be down in the description. Make sure you check them out. Now, Nate and the Dallas Darmanitans, the type they were given is Ice, which is a good offensive type, but a really bad defensive one. So his team it's fairly scary, but it's beatable if you can sort of weather the storm. So, the kind of stuff he drafted, he got Mega-Audino, Curran Black, Weavile, Mamoswine, Articuno, Cloyster, Regice, Lapras, Abomasnow, and Cryogonal. So, he's got an option of weather. He's got some really hard-hitting stuff. Curran Black, Weavile, Mamoswine, these are things that are scary in League format, and they often go early when Curran Black is allowed. But the thing is, I have a draft that whilst a lot of people went offensive, I went very bulky and defensive, as I like to do. And mine's a draft that's very difficult to break down without super effective stab, and he doesn't have a lot of it for most normal types. In fact, I don't think he has any. He doesn't have any fighting types on his team, no. So it's going to be quite difficult. I've gone very bulky, expecting certain things, like expecting Curran Black, expecting special Curran Black, because physical can't break me. And there's sort of various things along those lines. I was actually expecting the Mega-Audino, and that's going to put that's going to put into perspective why I chose a certain member that I did. Anyway, let's go with the team I decided to bring without messing around too much. So, Snorlax, Choppleberry, physically defensive, Rest, Curse, Sleep Talk, and Return. This guy, the problem with Monotype is that it's difficult to find massive resistances to a lot of things. He has no resistances to normal at all, and it's going to be hitting him harder than most things would anyway, you know. So I've gone Rest Talk, Curse, Return. It destroys his team. I've gone physically defensive, not special, because I have so much special bulk anyway. And his special attackers, he doesn't have all that many of them. Articuno, Specs, Modest, can't break Snorlax. Same thing with like Lapras, Cryogonal 2. Regice has to be Specs to break it, and this is a reason why I think Curran is going to be special as well. So I've gone physical just to mitigate most of those special attackers and the rest of his largely physical team. Next up, drop the mic, Meloetta. This is going to be my best sweeping chance because we've got a Black Belt Relic Song set here with Drain Punch, Close Combat, and Stone Edge. Speedy to outspeed everything once I've Relic Songed up. You know, outside of Scarfers. Drain Punch is there for the recovery. If I need to hit something a bit bulkier, I'll go for Close Combat. With the Black Belt boost, that's going to be grand. Stone Edge is solely there for the Articuno. Everything else gets destroyed by fighting stab, and Meloetta is going to be very useful if I can get it in sort of mid to late game. Back to the bulk, and we've got Mega-Audino. This is nearly max HP, max physical defense, bit of speed creeping on there, if anything wants to try and speed creep me. We've got Hyper Voice, Sub, Calm Mind, and Wish. For the most part, Mega-Audino can set up on a lot of his special attackers, the likes of Articuno and Regice probably. He can be set up on, and a few of the physical ones as well. If he's not packing Poison Jab on that Weavile, which to be fair I am expecting him to, we are going to be in a really good position against him with Mega-Audino. Speaking of things that can take hits, we've got P2. Shard at the P2 is here, with the Eviolite, physically defensive, Tri-Attack, Toxic, Sub, Recover. It's what Shardy would call the good set. Again, no normal resistances or immunities, so I can just run Tri-Attack, get Toxics on things, Sub up, Recover, Stall, Annoy. That is the basis of this team. Then we have Kecleon. Kecleon with the leftovers. This is a specially defensive leftovers set. Stealth Rocks are very important against his team. You know, he has a Cryogonal for spin, also a Cloyster for spin, and what's it called, the Articuno for defog. But you know, by dint of it being an ice type team, Stealth Rocks are going to be very important. If I can keep forcing in his spinners and his defoggers when he brings them, we can rack up the damage. They both get recovery, at least as you can see both the ones he's brought get recovery, but that's a free switch into something to really hit them quite hard. Kekleon also has Drain Punch, Rock Slide, and Knockoff. Fighting and Rock, of course, I get Stab on them as well with Kekleon, which is nice. Knockoff, because Knockoff is good. Then we have Staraptor, and that might be seen as quite an odd choice, you know, against the Ice-type team. But I've brought it for a couple of reasons, you know, couple reasons. First things first, Defog. You know, my team is mostly grounded. It doesn't like spikes, and he does have spike stack options in the form of Mega-Audino. So we've got Staraptor for the Defog. It's Scarfed, so Scarfed Defog could be very useful in a pinch. I say I don't like taking residual damage, even though I've got a lot of healing on this team. Second reason is close combat. You know, at the end of the day, this is a Scarfed close combat user with very high attack stat. Even though it's Jolly, it's still going to be hitting things fairly hard at close combat. I've got quick attack just in case. You know, this is a Scarfed set. I'm not anticipating Scarf Weavile. This will out-prioritize Ice Shard with the quick attack. If it comes down to it, and he's Sash, but he's looking like a problem. We've also got U-turn, so I can just get on out of dodge if I need to, basically. So that's the team I bought. Very briefly, Nate, he decided to bring Weavile, Curan Black, Mamoswine, Regice, the Articuno, and the Cryogonal. So a lot of what I was expecting. There's no Mega-Audino there, which I was expecting him to bring. So the Defog is pretty much useless. You know, maybe I'll be able to get rid of rocks from the Mamoswine if he's packing them. But other than that, Staraptor is pretty much just going to be used for close combat spam, I would imagine, on this team. Other than that, you know, I see a fair few setup opportunities, so without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see exactly how things played out. So, I'm going to be leading with my P2. It seems like a fairly universally good lead. And in comes the Mamoswine. I trace Thick Fat, which is very nice. That's another reason I wanted Shardock here. So he's going to go for the Stealth Rocks. He will obviously outspeed me, and that is fine. I'm just going to be able to get a Toxic off on this guy first turn. So he's going to be worn down. He has Clerics, you know, a Cleric certainly, I think Articuno counts as one. But it's nice to have the Toxic. He goes for Superpower. I'm physically defensive. This does very little damage, and now we're already early game going to see Shardock doing what Shardock does. Much like its namesake, it's just going to be annoying. Now, he can break my sub, of course, but I'll be able to get a recover off, and then we can just play this game. I win this matchup. So, he is going to switch out Nate. He's going to go into his Regice right about now. And I'm just going to go for a recover, because I have no reason not to. But the new person means I can go for a Toxic. I do unfortunately miss. That's a bit of a shame. I do miss the Toxic onto the Regice. He's going to go for a Focus Blast, and he is going to be able to break my sub on Shardock right about now. But I still don't fear him. I am going to go for that Toxic once again. And as you can see, the incoming Focus Blast is going to do 37%. I am a physically defensive P2. P2 is just disgusting and monstrous. Now, I do outspeed him, and I can stall him out again. I win this matchup. So I'm just going to go for a recover here, as in comes the Weavile, who is a bit more of an issue. I go for the recover. I may be taking it from Mamo, but Weavile can knock me off, and I don't want that to happen. Thankfully, even though I'm not Mega'd yet, I do have a switch into this guy, and that is going to be my physically defensive Mega-Audino. The knockoff is very much incoming. I know that's going to happen, and here it is. It does 34%, and we're still above half, so Audino also looking good. Now, here comes the switch from Nate. He is going to get out there and go into his Regice. Once again, I'm just going to Mega up, and at this point, I'm just going to go for a Wish. Because again, I really see no reason not to. I don't fear this Regice very much. I'm quite happy to stay in here and see if I can try and set up on it. I'm not going to go for a sub, but it turns out I could have because I outspeed him. And I'm going to go for the Calm Mind here. He's going to go for Ice Beam, and it's going to do pitiful damage. So I'm just like, I'm set. I'm so very safe here. I can just set up when I want. I can go for a sub here. He won't be able to break it, and Mega-Audino is going to be in. That's what I'm going to choose to do. Now, Nate sees the danger. He's going to get out there, go into his Mamoswine to try and take me on. As you can see, Mega-Audino just going to go for a substitute. Now, I know that this guy is probably going to be able to break it. He won't be able to do too much damage, but he will break this up with the Earthquake. As you can see, it's going to fade. Mega-Audino here, just going to go for the Hyper Voice to test the waters, knowing that Earthquake's coming. It does over half, 51%, that's very nice. And this Mamoswine is going to go down next turn to Poison. So, what I want to do is going to something to take the hit a little better. I don't really want Mega-Audino to take it, so I go into P2. And one of the chief reasons is, I could have, predicted me to live the hit, gone for a wish, but then he could have gone into something to revenge me at low health. What I wanted to do was go into Shardock, knowing I can pretty much wall his team and get the instant recovery of Recover, as opposed to the wish. Now Shardock is sitting here at just under half. In comes the Weaver. Once again, I don't really particularly want to be taking a knockoff here, but he's going to go for Icicle Crash. I tank it. I have thick fat because of tracing that. I do flinch from the Icicle Crash, but Nate's going to be able to see that's getting him absolutely nowhere fast. So he's going to switch on out to go into his Regice, and Shardock once again is just going to go for the Recover. No reason, absolutely no reason not to. And yeah, Porygon 2 is pretty much just walling Nate's entire team here, and is proving very difficult to get around. So I'm going to go for the sub. I literally have no reason not to. There is no reason not to go for sub here. He's going to go for Ice Beam. I am physically defensive. It doesn't break my sub. So I'm just like, well, what shall I do? I could probably recover. I could try attack. I choose to recover, get myself to full health. That's absolutely fine. For when the sub does break, I'll be at full health. He's going to go for Ice Beam. The second Ice Beam does not break my sub. I'm physically defensive. So now I'm just like, alright, what do I do? Just sort of kicking my heels, doing nothing with P2, so I'm just going to go for the tri-attack. It's going to do absolutely nothing to this Regice, of course. But that's fine, I'm okay with it. Now here he's going to go for Ice Beam. I imagine the crit didn't matter. The third one he was finally going to be able to break my sub. But I have no reason not to go for another sub here. I'm absolutely loving life with P2. I go for the substitute, and then he does something I wasn't expecting. He's going to go for the rest, and I was like, that's a bit more of a problem. Not entirely sure I like that. I can probably PP stall him, but no one's about that life. So, I'm happy to waste the sub, I don't really mind. I'm going to go into Kecleon right about now. And it was around now that I realised I made a terrible error with one of my mons. Now, Nate is going to go for the Sleep Talk, and he's going to pull Rest. And this is the start of him getting really unlucky with Regice. I was desperately sorry for what happened in the next, 4 or 5 turns. So, I'm going to be outsped by this Rest Talking Regice. He's going to pull the Rest on the second Sleep Talk as well, which is really unfortunate. Now, I'm happy to go for the Stealth Rock here, and as you'll see, I don't change type because I forgot to make myself Protean. I made myself Colour Change instead, which is a shame. So I've got Rocks up, that's nice. He is going to Wake Up here, and he's going to miss a Focus Blast. So he's pulled 2 Rests with Sleep Talk, he misses a Focus Blast. I go for Knockoff and I get rid of his passive recovery in the form of Leftovers. And he was getting annoyed here, and rightly so, because he's going to miss a second Focus Blast. And I was just like, I was so sorry. I go for the Drain Punch here. It's really not doing too much at this point. And now he's finally going to hit a Focus Blast. It'll do absolutely nothing, and finally give me the Fighting type stab that I wanted with Drain Punch. So even though I'm not Protean, I do get to become Fighting Kecleon, and Drain Punch is doing that a little bit more, and it's a clean 3-hit KO, so resting up is actually not going to help Nate here. So here comes the rest. He's going to go for it, and I'm going to go, as I say, for that Drain Punch, and it's doing, as you can see, 37%. This is a clean 3-hit KO, especially without those Leftovers. So, Nate's going to give it one more go with Regice. He's going to desperately go for that Sleep Talk and hope to get an attacking move. And he gets Rest again. He has had no luck with this Regice at all. There is nothing he could have done about that. It was just desperately unfortunate, and he was getting annoyed, and rightly so. What he's going to do here is he's just going to sack off the Cryogonal, seeing really no particular need for it anymore, I guess. I'm going for Drain Punch. I have no reason not to, and that is a dead Cryogonal. So, a KO for Kecleon there, and that is absolutely grand. Now, Nate needs to try and take on this Kecleon. He's going to do so by going into his Articuno, take that Rocks damage down to 51%. He's going to go for Hurricane, but I am Spadef. I do take it. I get confused. I'm a Flying type now, which is cool. But, as you can see, I am going to break through the confusion and get the Rock Slide off. And that's going to KO the Articuno from there. So down it goes. Couple KOs for Kecleon is always nice, especially since it was a misplay on my part, not making it Protean. But anyway, I digress. In comes the Kyurem Black, and I'm like, okay, Kecleon's done its job now. Rocks are there to stay. Let's just let Kecleon go down and try and scout this thing out. He proves to be the special set that I imagined he would be. He doesn't show an item. I'm going to go right on ahead and assume that he is Scarfed. Now, what this means is I can go into Meloetta, try and bluff the very popular Assault Vest spread. And Nate is going to take the bait here. He's going to go into Regice to try and sack it off and get a better move on his Kyurem, I guess. But I am going to go for Relic Song here. That's going to take down Shiva, the Regice, and now the sweep is very much on. Unless one of these guys is scarfed, he's not going to be outspeeding me. Certainly not unless the Weavile is. And he did say he was thinking about scarfed Weavile, but as you'll see, he didn't bring it. I'm going to go for Drain Punch. That's going to take out the Weavile from there very much. So down it goes. And now, unfortunately for Nate, all he has left is going to be the Kyurem Black. And yep, he goes into it. He's down to 51%. And I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to go for close combat. That's going to take down the Kyurem Black. Meloetta claiming a third scalp in this battle. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the game. So, a good game for us. We managed to take a fairly resounding 5-0 victory. It's got to be said that when we were playing around with that Regice, Nate did get desperately unlucky. Just pulling rest every time I think he went for Sleep Talk, he pulled rest. And missing most of his Focus Blast as well. You know, it was very unfortunate. In the long run, would it have made too much of a difference? Possibly not, but you know, you never like seeing that as a competitor, as a viewer, whether it's you suffering from it or you benefiting from it. Even then, you don't want to see that happen. It's unfortunate. It leaves a bit of a sour taste. But at the end of the day, Meloetta finally coming through with the Relic Song set, and yeah, as I suspected, the Ice-type team just not able to deal with my ridiculous bulk that I decided to bring to this one. So we progress onwards in the knockout stages onto the next round. We are going to be taking on now, if you don't want to know this, by the way, if you don't want to find out, close your ears now, turn off your sound and wait for me to give you the signal by waving, much like this. I just hit my mic. I won't do that. That'll be the signal. So if you don't want to hear spoilers about what's going to be happening next time and who won against who, then turn off your sound right about now. We're going to be taking on the electric type trainer. I hope no one can lip read. That is, oh blimey, what's his name? I forgot what his name is. Oh my god. Dan Hawker. Dan Hawker, the electric type trainer. His team Chelsealio will be taking on them. Privately, I feel okay about this in a similar way to how I feel about this. He doesn't have too much in the way of stat to be able to take on my bulk. Spoiler alert, I'm bringing bulk again. But yeah, that's who we're taking on next time. So you can come back now. I've spoken about next week and what happened in other games. So yeah, we move on, we progress. Don't know when our next battle is going to take place. I know my opponent has a team ready. I know I pretty much have a team ready. But that'll be hopefully going up sometime, I don't know, next week maybe. But that's the story for another time. Yeah, we're doing well in this tournament. Let's hope we can go further. So that is going to end it. Thank you very much everyone for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. So with that, I guess I'll see you next time. Laters.